I've been debating on whether or not I should do this. I've been going back and forth for a while about whether or not I actually do want to vocalize my thoughts in video format for the entire world to see. And you know what? Why not? I've called this one Old Shoes and Closed Doors. Mostly because I've been pondering it for a while. For those of you who know me pretty well, I'm not really sentimental about too terribly much, but the Chucks, cup of coffee, I absolutely am. I thought about the significance of shoes when I was buying a pair of Vans for my new job. I travel a lot. I'm on tour with a comedian, and I get to go see a bunch of different places and all that stuff. And the thought hits me as I'm buying these shoes and everything, and I look past my old Chucks, and I have like 4 pairs, 5 pairs, I don't know. I don't really know, but I went and found the oldest pair that I had. And I started thinking back to all the different adventures I've had and the places that they've taken me, the journeys I've walked on, and how I've had all those adventures in a single pair of shoes. And it's a strange concept to think of, You have these things that wear on your feet. They're seemingly insignificant, but they go with you everywhere. And if you really think back to all the adventures you've had on them, I mean, they've taken you a lot of places. It's almost like a set of scars that are covering your feet the entire time. They can tell you the places where you've been, the things that you stepped in, and the journeys that you've been on. It's a way of almost taking stock, if you will. And so I mean it's a silly thing because it's a pair of Converse, it's a pair of Chucks, but for some odd reason these shoes, this particular pair of shoes, not the ones I'm wearing, but any of them really, whether it be my Chucks or even my new Vans, they have stories that they could tell of where they've taken me some great places and some not so great places. But I started thinking about the significance of shoes. It's weird. I mean, I'm not exactly a woman who's going shopping for a new pair every 5 seconds. But I had this contemplation about where have I been with these pair of shoes? And so, onto the closed doors part, some of you know that I've gone through a significant amount of transition here within the past few months. And it's very, very interesting, very fascinating, getting a new pair of shoes and all the transition that's going on too. There's a moment where I'm watching this one significant transition happen. I don't want it to happen, but it's happening regardless if I want to or not, because the Lord's closing the door on it. And if God's closing the door on it, it's going to be closed. I know for some of you who are my friends who don't believe in the Lord, bear with me through this little bit here. Think of it as your higher power, that gut feeling that you get. It's really Jesus. But anyway, so that higher power, that gut feeling is telling me that this door, Jesus is telling me this door, is closing. And he's closing it. And I don't know if he's closing it permanently or if he's closing it for a season. But it's not a door that I'm supposed to have open at this moment. And it's almost like one of those moments where I'm in the middle of it. I'm pleading. It's like, Lord, please don't close this. Please don't close this. And it's if he said something along the lines of, you better watch your fingers because this one's closing and it needs to. And I've asked him a couple times, like, is that door going to reopen? Will I be able to walk through it again? Will that moment come back where I'll be able to walk through and fulfill the potential that I saw there? And he hasn't responded to that. His response, more or less, was, you need to focus on this area. You need to not focus on that other one. That's why I'm closing it. This area is becoming a distraction. I need you to focus here. I need you to be here in this moment. So the significance of closed doors and a pair of shoes may not seem like much, but when it's all happening all together, it's this time of transition, this time of letting go of what was behind, regardless of how great it was or how tragic it was. But it's letting go of that to move on to the next thing. It's fascinating when you're reading a good book and you're in this wonderful chapter. You don't want it to end because there's so much going on. The characters are developing, but in order for you to finish the story, get the resolution because of the conflict that's already happening or has happened or whatever, You have to turn the page on that chapter, and that chapter has to end. The author has finished that chapter, but they've written the rest of the book too that you need to finish up. Without finishing the rest of the book, you're never going to know the full story. So while that chapter may be great and lovely and wonderful, the rest of the book and the rest of the story will have no answer, and will make no sense unless you turn the page to start the next one. The thought process you're in right now may seem wonderful for the moment, but there's a whole lot more that has to come in order for that to come to fruition, for that thought to make sense in its whole context and the entirety of it. It's way more complex than what you can handle in a single moment. So, getting back to my old shoes and closed doors, in order for me to put on the brand new pair of shoes and have the new adventures that I need to have, and to start making those new memories on another wonderful path, I must first take off the old ones, put them aside, because where I'm going, the old ones just won't do. I need something new, something that's going to be able to weather the journey. So I guess in summation, don't be afraid to take the next step. Don't be afraid to move into that time of transition. Embrace it wholeheartedly, whether it's a rougher season, it's more intense than what you want it to be. Embrace it, because there's a learning curve. There's something you can learn from it. You're gonna make mistakes. I make mistakes. Everybody else makes mistakes, and you got to be at peace with that. If you're shooting for perfection, good luck. It's not going to happen. But embrace the new season. Embrace the time that you have. Live it to its fullest and love on it. You have people around you that are there to support you. Embrace them as well. Bring them along for the journey. Journeys are way more fun when you have company. No matter what anybody else says, you're not the only one. I mean, there are like 9 billion of us out there. Odds, statistically speaking, are that you're not the only one who's lived through the scenario that you're going through. Share about it. It helps you to move forward. It helps you embrace the time of transition. Anyway, I hope this has been helpful. If it hasn't, then, whatever. I stand by it anyway. Embrace the journey. Take a cup of coffee along with you, because it'll be significantly better through the tinted lenses of caffeine and whole bean wonderfulness.